Okay, so it was 1991 and I was 15 years old. The first Iraq war had was going on or had just finished, and I had a very crazy dream. And so when I woke up, I just blamed the dream on the Gulf War, the first Gulf War. All right, so this was the dream. I remember that I was in some aircraft, and I was flying over a desert country. What I mean, the desert country is a Middle Eastern country, the ones you see on TV. The a lot of dirt, the yellow reddish dirt, and the buildings. I just run down, and it was I knew it was like a Middle Eastern desert country, right? And while I was flying over, I saw there's like this mighty military force that was attacking it. They were infiltrating this desert country, and at the same time, I saw other areas that were being bombed by jets or by aircraft bombing this desert country. And then as I was looking at this, I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then there was a voice, and there's a voice in my dream. This voice said that this mighty military force was going to attack this desert country, and that it was going to happen very quickly. And then I'm like, okay, desert country, military force coming in and attacking. And then the voice said that, but it was going to be very short, that this attack would not take long, and the win, it would be swift. This attack, this takeover would be very swift. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right. So, desert country, military force attacking this desert country, and it would happen very quickly. All right. And then the voice said, but the leader of this desert country, he's an evil person, but he was just a decoy. So I'm like, decoy? I'm like 15 at the time. I'm like, all right, decoy, what do you mean? The voice is like, well, a decoy, that the person's a bad person. He's a bad dude, but there's a more powerful, more sinister, insidious character in power, right? So I was like, oh, okay, strange, crazy. And then the voice said that the military force was considered that this desert country leader was a prime evil, or like a very powerful evil guy, right? So I was like, all right. So it's just a strange dream, And then I was like, all right, sure, I got it. And then that this desert country, or this attack, it was a decoy, so it was a distraction. So I was all right, and then that was it. I woke up from the dream. I was like, okay, and I just blamed it on the first Gulf War, saying, yeah, it's probably just that. But then fast forward, 1998, I joined the Marine Corps. I'm in the Marine Corps when 9/11 happens, and then of course they send troops into Afghanistan, and then later troops into Iraq, and we're like, okay, we're just doing our thing. And I remember it was 2003. It was March 2003 when they went into Iraq and they were attacking Iraq, and there was all this footage of aircraft bombing Iraq, and then of course later on, all these Marines and soldiers going through the streets and taking it over. Really. And I remember we even got stop loss. Like, we got a lot of people stop loss. I don't know if you know that, but stop loss where people that were gonna get out were being held back and couldn't leave the military until this was over. Some people I knew got stop loss, and they were very upset. But anyway, a month later, it was over. The United States had gone in and bombed it and taken over Iraq, and Saddam Hussein was missing. He had disappeared. He was hiding. So then there's a big victory. Everybody was happy, and everybody was bragging about how fast the United States took over Iraq, and the infiltration and stuff. Very happy, right? And I'm like, I was watching the news that Saturday when you got George W. talking about that Saddam and Iraq was the axis of evil, including North Korea, of course, and Iran, I think it was, and I forget what others. But I was like, oh, that's strange. And I remembered my dream. Oh, man, pure evil, axis of evil. This guy, Saddam Hussein, is considered an evil guy, which he is. I mean, he was. And all these other guys, North Korea and Iran, I mean, yeah, that dude's right. But I was like, okay, so I was thinking like, oh, it's pretty damn close, because it only took us like a month to go in there, and it was very swift. I remember in my brain, it's like, that's the dream that you had. It's like the attack, it was very swift. I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. And then, months came along where afterwards, where we're like, everybody was already a little iffy, and there was a lot of conspiracies coming out about 9/11, right? So then I'm sure you've guys seen it out there, but it's like the weapons of mass distraction, or just that 9/11's a big distraction, and there's this all these people involved, and all these countries involved, and all these wars involved. It's just decoys or whatever. So I was like, holy moly. And that's where I was like, this dream must have come true then. And I had it in 91, and it came true in 2003, 12 years later. So that was my dream, and my second dream that came true, which took 12 years to come true. Anyways, guys, comment down below. Tell me I'm freaking crazy. I don't care. To me, I'm just making sense of it, trying to look, I'm just seeing and noticing these dreams and these real timelines that are actually very similar to my dreams, that they actually came true. So comment down below, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Like I said, if you think I'm nuts, whatever, or if you actually believe me, well, cool, thank you very much. Subscribe, and thanks. Till next time, bye.